retreat integration. If you go on any kind of a retreat, you have a lot of extraordinary experiences. Really, to get the value out of this retreat, what you want to do is you want to integrate. And integrate literally means bringing things together. That's actually what it means. It means to make whole, from the word integral. So, on all Nature's Medicine retreats, we have integration offered. Integration can either happen formally in a circle, and in this case the shaman will be giving specific advice. The person may ask them questions, they get invited to speak about aspects of their experience they want to share. And sharing in a group is so valuable, because when one person is sharing and all the other people are listening and giving attention, that's powerful. If you have a whole group of people listening to you, that's a really big gift you've just received. Also, when you're listening, it is almost certain that person is speaking. Something that person says will resonate with you, that will actually be helpful for you in your own personal journey. So integration is at least two ways. First of all, it's you having the ability to express yourself, having a dialogue with the shaman and the retreat host, and then have the opportunity to witness other people doing that and get increased insight into your own experience. So tuning into other people's experience, this is all really useful. A very important aspect of the integration for me is the artwork, and we've been doing this for some time, where people are given art materials and are simply given the opportunity to create something that they may have witnessed on their retreat. However, there's a new development, and the new development is my specific divination drawing system, which I co-created with my sister. And on the new retreats we're doing this. This is the new system, it's wonderful. We arrive at the retreat, we introduce each other, have some time to relax, get to know each other, the community starts to form, and then we get the art materials out and do a very specific divinatory process with the drawing materials. And you get specific items which you are invited to put onto the drawing, and then we put the drawing up on the wall and forget all about it until we've reached the point when we're near the end of the retreat. We then do another drawing with exactly the same items, and you do your different interpretation of those same items, because of course now this is you reaching the completion of your retreat, which is a very different place from where you started. This, I am finding, is a fantastic tool for helping people with the retreat integration, because you actually get to see in the visual sense the progress that you've made. That's very valuable. I need to accept that there are some people who, when it's time for integration, they don't feel they're able to communicate in words. And this is fine, because they're still part of the circle, they're still witnessing, they're still getting a benefit. And this is why it's very important that your retreat host needs to be someone who's willing to do what I do, which is that I'm always open after retreat, even a couple of weeks or 3 weeks later. You can contact me and you can share your information that way. So I want to give you a couple of examples. So about 3 weeks after this particular person had done her retreat, she got in touch through Facebook Messenger, and she said, I've got some things to share, would it be okay? And we went into a conversation that took several hours, and she shared a lot of fascinating information, which was really interesting and education for me about what she had gone through. She had a really profound retreat, and I then had much more of an understanding. In the act of sharing, she got lots of increased insights, and it helped her in her daily life, which is really the point I'm coming to. The point about integration is to prepare you to actually take all that you've learned into daily life. Some really simple things you could do as your integration. You could make a choice. You can make a choice that I'm going to drink good quality water and plenty of it. I'll keep my body hydrated from now on. That is singly one of the best things you could do to increase your health and vitality long term for your life. Another thing you could do is you could make the choice, I'm going to spend more time outside in nature. That's a major one. If that's all that you come away with is drink water and get out into nature after a retreat, you've got it all. So you can use this as a basis. You could change your diet. Now here's an interesting thing. I never at any point suggest that anybody ever becomes a vegetarian. More and more people I'm listening to months or even years after a retreat, and they tell me they became a vegetarian. That really surprises me when that happens. I personally like to eat small amounts of animal food, and when my body requires me to eat meat and fish, I eat it. That's fine. But for many people, going vegetarian is very, very helpful, and it seems to be an unexpected side benefit of doing the retreat. So having more of an awareness of the diet, what you put into your body, that can be helpful too. Other thing I pick up, I get a small number of people who say, I don't watch horror films anymore, I don't watch films with violence in anymore, I just don't feel the inclination to do that. That's something else you could get. So let's deal with more challenging experiences. This is where integration can be so valuable. And what happened to me recently, I came across somebody on Facebook, 17 years old, travelled all the way to South America, had had his nature's medicine experience out there, and he was permanently affected in as much as literally at least a couple of years had gone by, and this guy was feeling completely out of sorts. And I was that disturbed by what I read. I offered him some healing. I said, if you can't afford it, doesn't matter, mate, you have this healing, you could do it. So I gave him a full universal soul retrieval to deal with the symptoms that he presented. And the primary symptom he was offering was that he felt completely disconnected from everything. He didn't feel like he was properly in his body, and he felt extremely ill at ease, literally dis-ease. And it was a disconnection that really struck me. And that's a very disturbing symptom should the person come up with that one. And what I was doing with my work was to actually bring him back into a connection with the earth and with grounding activities. I'm going to speak about that a little bit separately. So if a person does experience a sense of disconnection from our consensus reality, that is something that needs to be addressed, because it is essential that we're able to operate in our day-to-day life. That's very, very important in terms of integrating experience to be able to bring these things back. So I'm now going to focus on another one which only happened a few days ago. This is someone at a recent retreat over in Ireland, and this person awoke with a nightmare, and a nightmare was being in a situation where they were completely out of control. So this ties in beautifully to what we've been speaking about control earlier on. And with a situation where the person feels out of control or the person feels disconnected, these are all signs that the person needs help. And activities to ground are going to be very important indeed. Another thing is to be aware of the function of the plants and the way that they work. This is how they work. And for an understanding of this, we go into homeopathy. If you study homeopathy to any extent, you will come across a phenomenon called layers of the onion. So a person comes for homeopathic healing for the first time, they'll get a remedy, and some work will be done, they'll receive some healing. Some time will go by, they may go back to homeopath, and they may go back again. And what's happening is each time they get a treatment, a layer of the onion is peeled off, which means healing has been done, revealing something beneath. What the plants do is they reveal what lies beneath. So if one person coming to retreat could actually lay bare some fears that they were unaware of. For another person, it could be coming in tune with a level of anxiety which has always been there, but they weren't really fully consciously aware of. So this can be a paradox, and this is true for all alternative healing methods. With all alternative healing methods, we have the possibility that when you start your healing process, you might not feel better immediately. In fact, your rational mind might judge your first response as feeling worse. So if you have any rational mind judgments about feeling worse about any form of alternative healing, whether it's nature's medicine retreat or going for a massage, or an acupuncture session or anything, this is actually a positive, useful sign to be aware of, because it shows change, and change is what life's all about. Resistance to change is one of the fundamental human problems, especially in Western society. When we accept and open to change, everything becomes easier. So the advice I needed to give this person about their nightmare is, first of all, having a nightmare is a strong, powerful experience. So that shows that the plants were releasing something to be looked at, which in this case would be the need to control and fear of being out of control. And when you start to become aware of these things, that's when you can heal, and that's when you can move on. And my main point, which I'm making through many of my films, is it so helps to let go of resistance, to let go of control, and to be in the flow with what is. This helps you enormously. So do be aware that if you have any symptoms that you regard to be difficult or challenging, that's another layer being stripped off to prepare you to face something for yourself. So I want to give an example for myself, which is the second retreat that I took part in, and I was taken quite abruptly to a place, and it was underground, it was a tunnel, and I was in a very difficult space indeed in this tunnel, and I felt completely trapped, and I felt I had no control over the circumstances whatsoever. I had a great advantage at my back. I spent 2 years studying shamanism with my teacher, and this was a retreat organised by my teacher, so the level of support I was receiving was phenomenal. I had all my guides at my back. It was great. So I didn't go into fear. The situation, if I was described in detail, would be terrifying, but I didn't go to any fear whatsoever. What I did is I stayed fully present, and I observed how it felt to feel that much out of control. And what the plants were telling me is, they were telling me, this is where you live your life. So it was a very harsh lesson that the plant was giving me, in a very gentle way, just showing me something. And if I was to close, even with my eyes open, I can actually see it now. It was such a strong visual that I got. And I'm very grateful for it, because it reminds me that I used to live my life constantly seeking to control. And therefore, I was not a happy person. Now I've let go of control. I spend much more of my time in states of great happiness and enjoyment. And I find myself smiling either inside or outside a lot. And I also find myself singing more in my life now than I ever have done. And it's all to do with the degree to which I let go of control. So your integration experiences may throw up things which might challenge you. And do understand, this is just a plant revealing something for you. I'm going to move to a slightly different subject, which is there has been something in the media over the last few years about a particular plant called cannabis, and people talk about something called cannabis psychosis. Whenever I hear of cannabis psychosis, it causes me to smile inside, because when a person has an experience like that, a psychotic experience, because they've smoked a plant, all that's happened to them is the plant has revealed to them the state of dis-ease which they have actually been in all the time, but they were cut off from it. So when you get a strong experience like that, that's what it's doing. It's giving you an opportunity to heal. It's showing you something to move on from. And I'm so grateful to many of my clients and people who've been at the retreat. I'm thinking of one particular person. They came to the first retreat carrying anxiety, not fully aware of it. 6 weeks later, they became fully aware of the anxiety. A while went by, quite a long time went by. They had the USR. They received other assistance from me and other people. And the joy was a few months ago when I started to receive the succession of emails about the anxiety. It's a thing of the past. And this person, when they get into a situation that would formerly create great anxiety, there's just a smile there, because it's about the matter of understanding that life is, things happen. And it's, as my mum likes to say, it's not what happens to you, it's how you respond to it that matters. So integration is ongoing after your retreat. Do make use of whatever help's available to you from the person that organised the retreat. And also, if you're part of a Facebook group of people who've done the retreat, here's something you can do which will really help you enormously. Write down your experiences and share those on the Facebook group that's created for you. Likewise, any drawings that you feel inspired to do, share those as well. You'll find that when you share your journeys with other people, that's great help to them. And also, the act of sharing is of a great help to you. So that's all much more than I was intending to say on the subject of integration. That will do for now. Thank you very much.